Did you guys hear about the ceasefire? Fire has ceased. Thanks apparently, in part at very least, to Trump's negotiating team being involved this time around. And we already have images of the Green Boys just like showing up in the street openly now and releasing the captured illegal settlers from the illegal Gaza envelope settlements that exist in order to keep Gaza imprisoned.
تبادل الأسرى في هنا وفي ساحة السرايا وسط مدينة.
The Green Boys received as heroes by the people who they defended against the genocidal baby-killing invader. Unfortunately forced into handing over the illegal settlers from the illegal Gaza border settlements. Yet it is nonetheless a necessity.
شاشة الجزيرة الآن تم إخراج الأسرى الإسرائيليين
الأسيرات
من
المحتجزات
الأسرى الإسرائيليين، والآن تم تسليمهم إلى الصليب الأحمر في المركبة الأخرى في الاتجاه الآخر كما نشاهد.
Okay, we don't care about this. We don't care about that part. So, The deal was that basically it was like 33 Israeli hostages, Israeli prisoners of war, not hostages, for something like 1,600 Palestinian hostages, actual real hostages, which is good. And by the way, every single Palestinian is an Israeli jail is a hostage, as Israel has absolutely zero jurisdiction or right to enforce the law on a single Palestinian anywhere. Israel is an illegitimate country, so that is a fact. So basically, as I kind of said in my videos covering the US election and what it might mean for Gaza, I said like Biden would be steadfast and like firm in his support for Israel, and Trump would be more malleable, more manipulable, like you could manipulate him more. And apparently the Palestinians thought the same, because both Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad representatives have said that they prefer negotiating with Trump to Biden. And in the end, it came true. Like even CNN just reporting on this here. The Biden and Trump teams worked together to get the Gaza ceasefire and hostages deal done. So what happened beforehand when the deal wasn't being done is quite simple. Trump's team was not involved. The factor that changed was that Trump's team got involved. Now, I don't really have much faith in this because honestly, I mean, you can't trust Israel and you can't trust the Americans, obviously. You can't trust such devious imperialists like them, particularly because, in the ceasefire agreement, nothing was really laid out regarding what is going to happen afterwards. And there will undoubtedly come a time where Israel and the US will be like, but Hamas is still there, and they'll just start genociding again. So, there is certainly nothing permanent about this. I mean, it's literally called a ceasefire, a temporary ceasefire still. It's not a peace agreement or anything. And don't you worry, the genius Israelis and Zionists are already out there saying that there wasn't a genocide because the Palestinians are celebrating that they're not getting bombed anymore. I guess the Holocaust wasn't a genocide either because Jews celebrated when they were liberated from the camps. Who knew? I just learned that recently. But there's all of this ceasefire is like it was like sort of outlining, where Israeli troops would be, what Palestinians would have access to. It didn't really go that far in planning out the future. And there is, Israel is going to want there to be at the very least like a proxy occupation. There's already part of this is a proxy occupation. Part of the ceasefire agreement included that parts of Gaza would basically be policed by, I believe it was Egyptian and Qatari troops. The normalizer countries. Basically, these countries sending troops to do occupation on behalf of Israel, because that would be more accepted by the Palestinians. And that is very much a first step to like an outright proxy occupation. There are plenty of Arab countries that would be more than happy if they were paid enough to occupy Gaza and prevent anything resembling Palestinian self-determination on behalf of the US and Israel. There's no like immediate danger of bombing for a while is obviously better than before. But what can there be in the future for Gaza with 80% of its homes attacked or destroyed, 50% of all buildings attacked or destroyed, the pervasive Israeli massacres of anyone even remotely linked to the government or the civil service or anything like that with the justification that they are Hamas. There is like no like bureaucratic apparatus there in any respect, in any field that remains functioning properly. What they have done is genocide Palestinians to the point where Palestinians even being able to run their own affairs will require a lot of outside help for them to be able to get back to that point. And they're going to use that as a justification to deny Palestinian self-determination, to force like a foreign Arab normalized occupation onto Gaza. They will not even allow PA to occupy Gaza, and that would be an occupation because the PA, apart from being a US Israeli proxy, was never voted in Gaza. It's basically like a second US-backed coup in Gaza, like the first one they did back in 2007, which failed. And this genocide is going to be used not even to like install a PA dictatorship, which is probably what the US would like, because I don't think Israel wants that. But it's certainly not going to be anything resembling Palestinian self-determination. They're certainly not going to be allowed to vote for who they want to represent them. And even if they were allowed, Gaza has been destroyed. The capacity for any sort of governance, let alone self-governance, isn't there anymore. It's people living in rubble. It's basically back to the pre-war situation, except even worse, and possibly with outright foreign occupation in the near future once further terms of the ceasefire get outlined. And I doubt that Hamas is going to accept further foreign occupation, and that will probably be used as a justification to attack Gaza again. So, I mean, I have a pretty bleak outlook regarding this. Even though, Hamas just sort of openly being uniformed in the streets now, as they clearly were in that video, indicates that Israel's claims of, like, destroying Hamas, they clearly were not doing that, obviously. They're just driving around the street with, like, cars that seem brand new. Nonetheless, the goal of Israel isn't to destroy Hamas, it's to destroy Palestinians physically, mentally, culturally. It's to make Palestinians not exist anymore. So they're going to want to go back in eventually to do that, or at least to ensure that they are more directly controlled by like a force closer linked to them, like as I said, like an Arab normalized nation occupying force. Anyway, that is what I believe about the ceasefire for now. Certainly seems more concrete than the last ceasefires, but whether it will last, I don't know. I say the chances are very low.